Have you ever spent time generating an AI video only for it to look, well, just a little bit off? You know, the character's face kind of flickers, the movement is all jerky, and the lip sync is just not right. It's a super common frustration, but believe me, getting those photorealistic results is way more achievable than you might think. So, let's break down exactly how to do it step by step.
Right, so this is the big question. How do we close that gap between a pretty good generated clip and something that feels genuinely cinematic and believable? It's not about finding some single magic button, but it is about mastering a complete workflow that puts you in the driver's seat.
So in this explainer, we're going to break down that whole process. We'll kick things off with the absolute foundation, your prompt. Then we'll get into how to keep things consistent, add that professional polish in post-production, and of course, how to nail that super tricky lip sync. And finally, we'll wrap it all up in a handy little toolkit for you.
Okay, everything, and I mean everything, starts right here. If you give the AI a vague prompt, you're going to get a vague, kind of chaotic video. But a detailed, really well-structured prompt, that gives you an incredible amount of control. This is the most important part because it's your best shot at telling the AI you want something that looks intentional and directed, not just random.
So what actually makes a great prompt?
Well, it really just boils down to these 6 core elements. First, you've got to define your subject with specific details. Then think about the composition. Are we talking a close-up or a wide shot? Describe the action nice and clearly. Set the location. Define the style. Maybe it's film noir or super photorealistic. And finally, specify the camera work. Is it a slow dolly or a steady handheld shot? If you cover all 6, you're giving the AI a crystal clear vision to work with.
And that's really the bottom line. Just hitting generate with a basic idea is going to get you a pretty generic, stiff-looking result. But when you really take the time to build out your prompt, you unlock this huge range of creative possibilities and start pushing the final product towards actual realism.
But you know, it's not just about what you ask for. Telling the AI what not to do can be just as powerful. And that's where negative prompts come in. Think of them as your personal quality control filter. They matter because they help you get rid of all those little uncanny valley mistakes that just scream AI generated to anyone watching. And check this out. It perfectly shows the difference. On the left, a simple prompt might give you something with weird artifacts, like the dreaded 6 fingers or that weird plastic-looking skin texture. But by adding a negative prompt that literally tells the AI to avoid those things, you guide it towards a much cleaner, way more professional-looking result.
All right, so you've absolutely nailed your prompt. Awesome. But now comes the next big hurdle. Consistency. How do you stop your character from suddenly changing their shirt, or even worse, their entire face from one frame to the next? Without consistency, you just can't tell a believable story. The trick here is to give the model what we call identity anchors. Define a few unique, persistent traits, like a red beanie or a small scar on their cheek, and then repeat those in every single prompt for that character. It also really helps to simplify the scene and use explicit instructions, literally telling the AI, hey, keep the character's outfit the same. This is what maintains the illusion and keeps your audience locked in.
A raw AI generation is almost never the final product. The real magic, the secret sauce, happens in post-production. This is where you can smooth out the motion, sharpen up the details, and give your clip that polished, cinematic finish that separates the amateur stuff from the pros.
One of the absolute best post-production techniques is something called frame interpolation. See, a lot of AI video tools generate at a low frame rate, maybe 8 frames per second, which looks super choppy. Frame interpolation tools use AI to cleverly create new frames in between the original ones, which completely smooths out the motion. And wow, the difference is just night and day. On the left, you can totally see that jittery, almost stop-motion feel of a low frame rate. But on the right, after interpolation, the movement is fluid and natural. This one step is so crucial because our eyes are just trained to expect smooth motion, and when you deliver that, your video instantly feels more high quality.
Okay, another common issue is resolution. A lot of AI models will output video at 720p or maybe 1080p, and that's fine for some things, but if you want a truly professional look, you're gonna want to upscale it to 4K.
Tools like Topaz Video AI are amazing for this. They don't just stretch the image bigger. They use AI to intelligently add new detail and create a really crisp, high-resolution final video. So why does this matter? Well, because high resolution just adds a ton of perceived value and makes sure your work looks fantastic on any screen.
And now for what feels like the holy grail of AI video realism, lip sync. Getting a character's mouth to move believably with an audio track is honestly one of the toughest challenges out there, but it's the absolute key to unlocking an emotional connection in any scene with dialogue.
Basically, there are three main ways to do this. First is prompt-driven, where you just type the dialogue right into your prompt. It's fast, but you don't get a lot of control. Second is audio to video, where a tool like Hygen animates a still image from an audio file you provide. And third, you've got performance capture, where a driving video of a real person animates your character. That one gives you the most nuance and real emotional expression.
So, we have covered a ton of ground here. Let's pull it all together into one final checklist, your personal toolkit for creating some seriously realistic AI video.
Just remember these 6 steps. 1. Build your prompts with all 6 key elements. 2. Use negative prompts to get rid of all the weird artifacts. 3. Lock in your characters with identity anchors. 4. Smooth out that choppy motion with frame interpolation. 5. Upscale to 4K for a crisp professional finish. And 6. Pick the lip sync method that actually fits what you're trying to do. Follow this checklist and I promise you'll see a huge improvement in your work.
If you found this breakdown helpful, do me a favor and like this explainer and subscribe for more tips just like these. And to wrap things up, here's a little something to think about. Which one of these tips made your video look the best? Go try them out and see the difference for yourself.